Hey everyone, give us one moment while we get all of our speakers set up. All right, I think we are pretty much all set. Before we begin, I'd just like to inform everyone here that the commentary provided is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. This is Garrett from Binance US, and today I had the opportunity to chat with some of the members of the Shiba Inu team. I know we have a couple of you guys here, so why don't you introduce yourselves?
Sure, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm Archangel, and I am on the growth team, the growth breed with the Shiba Inu team.
I guess I'll pop in now second. Hey everybody, I go as Kraken. I'm part of the defense and the growth breed, and I'm also a moderator of the Discord.
Hi guys, I'm Ru and I'm from the growth team.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, guys. Want to definitely talk about a lot of different topics today. But just to start with, I know you guys are using obviously some different names here, but would love to learn a little bit about what got you guys into crypto originally. Maybe you can share a little bit about what projects you were interested in before you started helping out at Shiba, and yeah, any insight you could give into your sort of your path into the industry.
Sure, thanks, Garrett. I've been watching crypto for a really long time, and one of the reasons I didn't get in early was because of the Mount Gox hack back in the day, back before it was, originally when it was still Magic the Gathering. I watched all the ICO hype in 2017, 2018 timeframe, and really just wasn't drawn into the space other than a potential uh, observer viewpoint. But when the Fed started printing a ton of money over the COVID pandemic timeframe in the U.S., I started looking around for other ways that I wouldn't be totally diluted in fiat currency. So last late May, early June timeframe, I came across SHIB from a friend, threw a couple $100 at it just for the giggles, and then really started diving into the vision from Ryoshi's mediums. And that is what pulled me in the rest of the way to this project. Just a, a project that wasn't looking for get rich quick type scenario. Now it has made several people very wealthy, but that wasn't the original intent or purpose. It was to lift the overall community, and I think that's still the goal of the devs today, is to lift and create a better space for the entire community as a whole. And I really admire that vision, the place to do well and do good at the same time. So my first investments in the crypto have only been in the last year. However, I've been following the crypto space for quite some time.
That's great. It's really interesting to get to chat with people, especially when they've sort of gotten in the space, rather recently, last year or two. Especially considering the bull market that we've been in and the volatility, it's been a chaotic time. And so for you to have started sort of your journey in that time frame, I think it's it's a lot different think compared to a lot of the hosts that we've had on previously. How about you, Rue? Did you have a similar coming to crypto, or were you involved a lot earlier?
Thanks, Garrett. Um, I was involved with crypto back in late 2016, if I'm not wrong. Then I got into SHIB. I got to know SHIB when I think it was December, if I'm not wrong, December 2020. That's where I read Ryoshi Medium. A friend of mine sent it to me. Then I just read it. Then after that, not long, I just bought like Archangel like that. A couple of hundred. Then here I am until today.
Gotcha. I think that it's a lot. It's just really unique for you both, I guess, to sort of have been really focused on Shiba from the beginning, but had gotten in sort of after reading those Medium articles. Do you want to share a little bit about what Ryoshi had to say and sort of it's a similar I feel like take on the name of Satoshi from Bitcoin. What was the vision for Shiba Inu?
Kraken, if you want to go at this one, feel free to interrupt. But for me, it was really the experiment in decentralization, starting from zero with zero kind of mentality, and just seeing what the community itself can generate out of the locked token that was available for sale. So there was no tokens held for developers or anything like that. It was just launched into the community, put out in the ether, and whatever became of it would become of it. And I really liked that concept of seeing, putting it out there and seeing what it would grow into. And what it's grown into is absolutely amazing. I don't know if this exceeded Ryoshi's dreams yet or not, but it's definitely on its way if it hasn't already. The community is really what makes SHIB great.
Yeah, this man literally just everything I was about to say. He just said it right there.
No problem. I mean, could you, I guess, like going off of that, you know, for people that may not know a lot about like the function and the reason why Shiba was created and why, what Ryoshi's vision was, could you guys just sort of explain that a little bit? Like the goal to, have a currency that's controlled and driven by the community for the community? Was it to free people from our typical fiat, intermediaries? What exactly was that goal?
Yeah, so you kind of went with the right direction. It's just decentralization completely, privacy decentralized from central, like just DeFi in general is what a good sum of one word for what the vision is.
Yeah, and for those who haven't read the Medium articles, I know we're kind of constrained on time here, so we probably won't be able to do it justice. But if you go to allhailtheshiba.medium.com, you'll be able to read those early Medium articles that Ryoshi put out. Again, that website is allhailtheshiba.medium.com, and that I think that really is a great level setting for anybody wanting to get involved in the token, in the community, and in really the vision and mission behind what matters to SHIB, what the ethos is of SHIB. Those should be required reading.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to get a ton of information, from that spot. So moving on a little bit onto the token. Currently, how many SHIB tokens are in circulation, and what does the sort of the ownership breakdown look like? Is it pretty evenly distributed amongst the community? Are there certain whales or pockets or groups that hold quite a bit more than others? What does that breakdown look like?
Honestly, I
Okay.
haven't kept with it, so yeah, like any other token, you'll see a curve, but as far as the actual breakdown itself, I haven't looked at that in a long time.
Yeah, so you're constantly seeing a lot of whales moving in and out of sheep. Recently, you'll see a lot of them moving in, but in order to give you like a full breakdown, I guess something like ETHScan, you could probably go into just like dive into different. Obviously, the big ones that you're going to see at the top are exchanges and whatnot. But yeah, it's diluted pretty nicely, I'd say. There's like any token, there's big holders, there's small holders, and then there's medium holders.
Gotcha. So it seems pretty, like from what I got from there, it seems like it's just like pretty dispersed, and evenly distributed amongst like the community itself, and then you have your typical, larger groups that hold on to that. Rue, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, typically all the whales that we see, right, is actually most of them are centralized exchange wallet that are holding the large amount of tokens. The only large amount tokens that's holding privately is Wintermute. If you're aware, Wintermute is the one that helps to disperse the India COVID relief fund back in 2021.
Yeah, is that that's the same relief fund that Sandeep from the Polygon Network came up with?
I can't remember the guy's name, but it was the one that is in charge. That VB actually sent it to them. That they will be the one in charge to disperse for the relief fund.
Okay, I see. So that's just the that's just talking about the SHIB token, but there are three tokens that you guys currently have in your network. Could you talk a little bit about the three of them, and then also what utility, what function they play in the network?
Yeah, sure. So we've got Shib, Leash, and Bone as the ecosystem trifecta, so to speak. And the way I break it down in my head is that Shib is the flagship token. So Shib is what really gets out there and spreads the word, brings in the community. We've got over 1.1 million unique wallets in just DeFi, and that's not to mention all the holders in centralized exchanges like Binance. So I'm sure you all may come close to that number on your own. The SHIB is really that community token that is for everybody. Leash I look at as for exclusivity. I know Satoshi says that quite a bit, that Leash is definitely for the exclusivity portion, and then Bone is for gas and governance. So right now we've launched the Doggy DAO, which has gone through two beta phases of voting for woofable pool tokens on ShibaSwap, and with that, it'll be opened up for more votes in the future. But right now, that's for governance, and then it will also operate as the gas token on Shibarium.
Awesome. Just talking about that, the DAO. What are the requirements to be part of that? Do you need to just own a certain amount of Shiba, or you have to play a certain member, like you have to play a certain role in the community? How can you be a part of that voting process?
So we do have so part of Shiba Swap is there's an area where you can actually stake your bone, and your voting power is determined by the amount of bone that you have staked, which is our T-bone token. So if you have one bone stake, you're going to have one T-bone in return, and that's what you're using to vote on DAOs. That's basically your voting power.
And so if that's your voting power, is there any other place that you can go to get more bone besides this swap spot, or is it just limited to this swap?
So you can get bone outside of Shiba Swap. There are some exchanges that have listed like Gate.io and others. Um, But in order for you to participate in the DAO, you have to have it staked on our side to receive the T-bone to then be able to participate in the DAO.
I gotcha. So will that, and then like beyond participating in the DAO, will Bone or Leash or even Sheep play any part in your new Metaverse project, or are you planning on releasing some new tokens for that?
So the trifecta of tokens, Shib, Leash, and Bone, will all play a role in the metaverse itself. So every token is going to have utility that's either generated by the devs or brought to vote in the DAO by the community. And there's not going to be the motto, I guess, can be no token left behind, so to speak. The Shib is going to have its place, Leash is going to have its place, and Bone is going to have its place.
Great. We'll definitely talk a bit more about your recent Metaverse announcement and dive a little bit deeper into that in a bit. But before we get to that, was hoping we could chat a little bit about Shiba Yoshis. I hope I pronounced that right, but I understand that that is your version of basically of an NFT. And I was wondering sort of how that how is that different from a typical NFT on say Ethereum or Solana or Phantom? Does it have any thing that makes it maybe superior or cheaper or faster? What are the benefits?
So I don't want to hog all the space, but Ryu, do you want to say anything, or Kraken?
No, I mean, I feel like all for the metaverse stuff, you're kind of the more versed into it just because of your background and stuff.
Yep. So with the Shiboshis, those are the 10,000 NFTs that were launched and sold out within, I believe, about 34 minutes. When you looked at the gas fees and how they sold out so quickly, I think with the land sales that are coming up soon, a lot of those pain points have been kind of resolved by some of the steps the devs are taking in launching the lands. But the Shiboshis offer a first foray into what will be the game and separately in the metaverse. I can't go into a lot of detail about what those are going to be yet, but we also have the Shiboshis social club on Discord, and you'll be able to see have first access to information there. And what they're also providing this time around is a ticket to get into the first bit of the land sales in the metaverse. So the Shiboshis, we do have a white list of 2,000 addresses that were taken from the Shiboshis community out of the, I believe it's about 3,700 total wallets. And those have been whitelisted to gain access to phase one of the metaverse lands and purchasing. So there's definitely a lot of benefit to holding a Shiboshi.
And I'm not sure if you might have touched on it a bit, but the Shiboshi play a role in the metaverse as a character option or as a sort of token for like beyond the exclusive land that you have available like in the beginning to mint. Will it play any role past that?
It will play a role, but we can't really go into what roles it'll play just yet. There's nothing in the ecosystem that's going to be created and then just dropped. So everything that is created has a role in the future of the metaverse and in the SHIB ecosystem in general.
I see. And I guess we can then just sort of hop into into your metaverse announcement. So a lot of interesting things in that you guys are sort of planning out and prepping for. Was hoping maybe all three of you could tackle, just sort of explain to everyone what's in store, what makes this metaverse project, different from the ones that we've seen come out the last couple of months, and what can people be excited about?
Well, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. The metaverse we recently launched a blog article describing the metaverse in general, and really what it comes down to is creating an area for the community and all of the SHIB ecosystem to come together. So it's really a space that can merge all the assets and attributes of Shiba and kind of be a reference point for new users that join the ecosystem and crypto space in general. So, creating new straight or a common, the number one about SHIB is the community, and I don't think I can stress that enough. And we're just trying to create space for that community to come together, and the concepts and ideas that are going to take SHIB into the years to come.
Rue, Kraken, anything to add?
Garrett, you're muted if you're speaking.
Yeah, so Garrett, just to chime in on that, you're not really muted. It's just that a lot of people also on their Discord is reporting that there apparently are some audio issues. Some can hear you, some can't. It's cutting in and out for me as well. But to add on to what Archangel was saying, yes, everything that gets involved and created
Kraken,
into the platform.
I heard Kraken up until about 2 seconds ago.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Twitter likes to have issues whenever we're having an AMA. So yeah, everything that gets created into our ecosystem doesn't get dropped. Everything has utility and use for it in the metaverse. So when more information of that comes out, it will be announced, but nothing is going to be overlooked at.
And yeah, completely understand. So with the land going up for sale, I know that there is a couple different tiers that will be available, as well as some land that's going to be locked. I'd imagine for future releases and events. Could you just tell us a little bit about the different tiers and what they offer differently?
Yeah, so the lands themselves, the locked portion of the lands are going to be the hubs, and those will be reserved for development. And they're mostly like plazas and buildings and meeting points for different events. So there will be some spaces that will be used for like public transport and that kind of thing. Give me a second while I bring up the blog article here, because I don't remember the exact names for the lands themselves, but they start at 0.2 ETH and go to 1 ETH for the minimum bidding for those lands. There's going to be an initial launch of about 36,431 plots of land, and those are going to be divided up into 4 different districts, which will be the growth district, defense district, technology district, and currency district. And there will be certain attributes associated with each of those districts that we'll be revealing later in the future. But the 4 tiers of land are the silver fir, which is going to be about 17,000 plots of land, the gold tail, a little over 7,000 plots of land, platinum pall, which is almost 6,000 plots of land, and then the top tier 1 is the diamond teeth with about 2,000 plots of land. So again, those each range from tier 4 at 0.2 ETH, tier 3 at 0.3 ETH, tier 2 at 0.5 ETH, and tier 1 at 1 ETH for the token sales. So during the phase 1 launch of the bidding with that Shiboshis whitelist, users will be able to bid against each other for the plots of land that they want to purchase. Now, when we move to phase 2, where you'll have a leash locker, that this is completely separate from the staked leash in the Shiba swap right now. This will be a totally separate locking system. So if you have leash staked in there as X leash, you'll need to pull that out, converted back to leash, and then lock it up either for 45 or 90 days, depending on what level of land you want to accumulate. Let's see here. What did I miss? There's definitely a lot of different things that you'll be able to do with the lands. But again, some of that will be reserved for future announcements.
Makes sense. So you mentioned the districts. They actually, to me at least, they sound really similar to a lot of metaverse have like a guilds system that almost act as DAOs within the metaverse. Do you guys have plans to let your districts act as DAOs in a similar fashion, or is it more of just like a way of dividing up the land?
That currently isn't really disclosed yet, and if it is or not, we wouldn't really be able to say or confirm that.
That's good. Completely fair. Completely fair. So you mentioned that yeah, the leash locker. Do you have plans to work with other marketplaces? I know that the Shiboshis are available on OpenSea, but do you have plans to work with other NFT markets to sell this land?
Yeah, so the Shiboshis are available on OpenSea as the secondary market. The lands will be able to be purchased through the shib.io website that was announced in the blog article. Our lands will be available at OpenSea after the minting starts, and we'll also have our own marketplace as well. But before they're available on those secondary markets, we're going to hold those bid events that will last 3 days for the phase one, the holders event, which will require the leash locker for phase two, and then it'll be open to the public for any other lands that are still maybe available. And we did have plans for when Shiboshis launched. We had plans to open it up to the public after a 24-hour window of leash exclusive sales, and rather than even taking the 24 hours, they sold out in 34 minutes. So while I expected to go longer than 34 minutes, I if you want to get access to some lands, I would definitely recommend going the leash route as well.
So could you share maybe any insights into what will come with the Shiboshi zone? Will it provide any extra perks or is that also for a later news announcement?
Yeah. So, and I just want to make one thing clear: both the phase one, I may have worded it a little poorly. The phase one and phase two bid event and holder event are both going to require the leash locker or Shiboshi's locker. So I just want to make sure that I clarify that statement. Um, as far as the Shiboshi zone itself, that's just a way to create a path for the whitelisting. So again, it's a group of 2,000 lands that have been restricted for randomly whitelisted wallets to participate in the purchase as one of the perks of holding a Shiboshi, and those will have access to that phase one land bidding. So it's not going to be a specific zone itself in the metaverse. However, it's just a way to get a group of lands reserved to act as a benefit to the Shiboshi holders.
Yep, and adding on to that really quickly, Shiboshi holders that participate in the lands will also be earning passive income as well, simply for having that. So that's another plus that there is to it.
Thanks for clarifying. Is that so? That's for holding for holding so like in a similar way to staking, like you would have to stake to receive those rewards.
There is a mechanism, and Archangel can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did recall from the last post that there was a way for you to stake your Shiboshi. Am I right?
I'll have to double check on that one. You will be locking up leash, and they'll be getting 3% of the overall. Um, the overall amount that's brought in from all of the land purchases, but I'm not sure about the Shiboshis. I'll have to check back on that.
If people, I guess this would be like a perfect bridge. If people wanted to keep up with updates like that, where should they go? I know that you guys are extremely active on Twitter, but should people join your Discord? Do you have a Reddit?
So Eric just clarified to me that the Shiboshis will not get that 3% distribution. It'll just be for the leash locked up in the shib.io platform. So in answer to your question, Garrett, the Discord is probably the fastest way to get information. All of the other platforms such as Reddit, Telegram, whatever platform you prefer, the information will get there fairly quickly. But if you have any questions as far as where to source information from, we have a link tree that you can go to look for people to follow, and that will have all of the official links in there as well.
Perfect. So everyone should definitely look out for that link tree and go there to follow for updates. On top of updates, do you guys have any plans in the near future to add on to the utility of the SHIB token? I know that I believe on the in some of your articles, it talked about future developments in 2022 of adding more utility. So, are there any developments you could share along those lines?
Yeah, so the team and community is always looking for ways to implement new utilities for SHIB, not just as a currency, but in the overall ecosystem. And I know there's a lot of asking for burns, which we're in the final stages of building a burn portal. Each of the utilities moving forward will most likely have a burn functionality with it, not just for the sake of burning, but through utility. And I think that's important to note, that it's not just going to burn for no reason. With the adoption and people understanding what the project is about, we're going to see a lot of community influence on the directions and utility of the SHIB token. So right now, the first thing for the metaverse is like how you're able to name Shiboshis by burning SHIB. You'll be able to do that with your land as well, and that's before the metaverse is launched. But we're always looking for ways to add functionality, add utility to all of the tokens, and SHIB especially, because SHIB is the community.
Absolutely. As your like staple and the first token, of your community, definitely want to put a lot of work into it and then make sure that it's pristine. But just curious, beyond the token and the metaverse developments, are there any other new additions that people should look for in the coming months? Any sneak peeks that you can give us, or things that are being worked on that maybe haven't been quite highlighted yet?
Yeah, well, I just want to go back to the last question real quick. So Milkshake just sent me a message that said you will be able to unlock land resources with SHIB in the metaverse. So that's actually a pretty big feature. That is going to be, I think, going to be pretty significant in the use case for SHIB itself. And those are just two of the functionalities spoken about even before the metaverse is launched. So there's going to be a ton of ability and utility for SHIB itself.
Awesome. And so anything beyond SHIB that you'd like to share? I know we're sort of getting to the end of our time, but any updates or future developments beyond SHIB, the token, that you'd like to share?
So yeah, one thing I do want to comment on is, if you haven't gotten a MetaMask wallet set up, you definitely need to get that set up today. If you're interested in land purchases, because the land purchases will only be for be able to utilize MetaMask as the wallet. So no Trust Wallet or Coinbase Wallet, only MetaMask for the land NFTs. So, and another thing is that the Shib.io website will be launched at some point today. So you'll be able to look on there to kind of gain an idea of when you can lock up your leash tokens in the leash locker. And with that launching today, definitely keep an eye out for the land sales launch. So we'll see how that plays out. But keep hitting that F5 button on your keyboard, looking for Shib.io for when that launches sometime today.
Sounds good. I'm sure your community will be very very loud today. I'm certain on Twitter. Um, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. If you'd like to stay up to date on future AMAs and interviews, as well as Binance US news, you can follow us here at Binance US. Um, Rue, Archangel, Kraken, thank you so much for sharing some information and developments with us today. Really appreciate it. I hope it was informative and everyone learned a little something new about Shiba Inu.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend, everyone.